Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode. This is Mani Karthik here from backtoindia.com. In this episode, we're going to deal with one of the most sought after topics in our community, and that is, should you bring your TV back to India while you return? Trust me, this is probably one of the, not one of the, actually the most repeated questions right from the start in 2017. So, if you're here for the first time, Back to India is a community that actually helps NRIs who wants to move back to India make their move anxiety free. And we help in our capacities. I myself am a returnee, and there are a bunch of other returnees from different cities in India who are helping folks who are NRIs today, who wants to move back to India at some point of time. And we share our resources. And at backtoindia.com, you can come in and for 100% free, create your checklist and plan your move back to India using all the information that we are sharing. So in this episode, we'll be looking at this question: should you bring your TV back to India? And I remember back in 2017 when I started my journey, this was an emotional question, like many other questions, because we're all attached to things. Our furnitures, our books, our TV was also one of the things. So me and my wife had this burning question where should we bring him back, because it was a huge TV like every other American household does. I think it was a 75 inch in 2017. Today I know we have 90 inches and bigger sizes, and we're all attached to the TVs. So we had the same dilemma: should we bring the TV back to India? And I took a decision. We'll get to that in a bit. But in this session, what we'll be learning or looking at is, the customs rules for shipping TV back to India, the updated ones, that is, then how much duty you'll be paying, how it is calculated, the 2026 transfer of residence change that actually changed a lot of things in the last year, then whether your foreign TV will even turn on in India. A lot of people don't even look at that aspect. Then, of course, the warranty trap that nobody warns you about. Then, of course, the shipping risk that, cracking panels and all of those things. And then, of course, a simple 4-stage decision you can make in 5 minutes. So that's what we'll be looking at today. And this is a very raw, from the heart kind of a presentation. So I'm just putting together all the information that I've accrued over a period of time by myself and by folks in the community who has been generous enough to share their information. So do check out backtoindia.com if you are planning to move back to India at some point of time. Now, this is not just a vague, it depends kind of answer. This is very specific. And by the last slide, you will have a clear yes or no for your own TV. And we'll cover the money side first, because that's where most people go wrong. And then, of course, the technical stuff, which matters more than you would think. Then the warranty and shipping, which are, the two things people forget completely. And then finally, a clean decision framework. Now, the 30-second answer, which is, the short answer, if you don't have the time to go through this video, the short answer for most people is that don't bring it. Sorry to burst your bubble. I know you might be attached to your TV, but the short answer, which we learn from folks within the community and people who actually moved with their TV, from their experience, what we've learned is that don't bring your TV, because buying a new TV in India is more advantageous. Let me put it that way. And we'll get to the details. Don't take this at face value. We'll get to this. Another thing is, a mid-range TV is probably not at all worth importing. But if it is a high-end TV, like maybe a new technology like QLED or whatever is the newest technology, and if it's really big and if it matches certain conditions and criteria, which we will get to in a bit, then perhaps you can consider bringing it. But essentially, between duty, shipping, lost warranty, breakage risks, you will probably be spending more for a really worse outcome. And India makes TVs locally now as well, and there are companies who exports them to US and UK. They're good and they're cheap as well. So a lot of things have changed from when you actually left India, probably. So that's also something to factor in. So if you have a genuinely high-end set like a OLED, QLED, or maybe $3,000 and up or $2,000 and up, then you might want to consider it. If it is less than 2 to 3 years old, you might want to consider it. And if you have a proper transfer of residence, then you can consider it. So we'll get to all of these details later. Okay. So I mentioned about my story. I ended up buying my own TV in India, and that's because at that point of time, it was a 75-inch TV. I didn't use a shipping company at that time. I left most of my belongings back in the US. I sold them off and I started fresh. So TV was one of the items I decided to ditch. But I think personally that was a good decision because I was able to buy a newer tech TV in India, a larger one, and it didn't cost much, actually close to 55,000, 60,000. The brand is VU, VU. And we'll get to that also in a bit. So that's my story. But let's get to the myth that basically, trips everyone up because a lot of people don't pay attention to this. See, usually what people think is, hey, my TV fits inside the duty-free allowance because there's a duty-free allowance. Everyone knows this, and they say, hey, my TV should fit in that. It does not, ever. The thing is, see, the general duty-free allowance went up to 75,000 rupees under the baggage rules in 2026. A flat panel TV is specifically excluded from that allowance as well. It's named in the Annexure 1 in the list of items that never qualify, in fact. So this change was brought in 2026. A lot of people don't realize it. And this is the single biggest misunderstanding in our community year after year. People hear duty-free allowance of 75,000 rupees and assume that their TV slides in under that number. It doesn't, not even close. Because flat panel televisions, LED, LCD, plasma, OLED, all of them are written into a special excluded list called the Annexure 1 in the transfer of residence. And the Customs Department's 2026 FAQ spells it out very explicitly on this day of recording this video, which is 22 June 2026. And in there's a question 45, which confirms that televisions are excluded from the general free allowance. So the size of your TV doesn't really matter for this rule because a 32-inch is treated exactly the same as a 75-inch, and both are, dutiable. So I've seen people walk confidently through the green channel, assuming that it's fine, and then they get pulled aside. So don't be that person. A TV always gets declared. Now, the core rule, which is, a flat panel TV is always dutiable as baggage. And this has been true since 26th August 2013. The baggage rules of 2026, which is effective 2nd February 2026, also continue it. And there is no carve out for small TVs, no carve out for old TVs as well. And the major shift that happened in 2026 is that transfer of residence can now clear one TV duty-free within your value cap. And we'll get to that in a bit as well, as to what is a value cap and what is a transfer of residence. So I want to separate these two situations very clearly because this confuses people. Situation one is the casual traveler. You're flying in with a TV as ordinary baggage. You pay the standard rate for it. Situation two is the genuine returnee doing a proper transfer of residence. And that's the move back for good process. And under the new 2026 rules, that path can bring your home TV duty-free, but within limits. Because almost everyone watching this deck is, I'm assuming, in situation two, or should be. So please don't panic at the next few slides where I show you the standard duty rate. Because I'm showing you the standard rate first so you don't understand the default. And then I'll show you how transfer of residence rescues you from all of this. And the official source for all of this is the Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs at cbic.gov.in, and all of this that I'm sharing here can be fact-checked from cbic.gov.in. I'll leave the link to the website in the description so you can check it out yourself. Now, what is the standard duty rate as of today? This is kind of surprising for a lot of people, and it is 38.5% on a TV as ordinary baggage. So keep in mind, this is ordinary baggage, not someone moving back. Okay, ordinary baggage as in you're a casual traveler coming in with a TV into one of the airports in India, international airports. So for years, the number printed on TV duty receipts has been 38.5%. The Mumbai Customs Zone 3 FAQ states it plainly. Basic custom duty of 35% plus a social welfare surcharge of 10% on that duty lands you at 38.5. So that's how it's calculated. Even the Chennai Customs says that this is the same thing that they follow. It's also mentioned on their website in the passenger FAQ. You can go and check it out. Now, you may have read a lot of headlines in the news about, there's a new flat 10% customs duty starting around April 2026. Yes, that is real, but it does not apply to your TV when you carry it or ship it as baggage. That 10% lives under a different tariff heading, the one for small personal imports through posts and courier. So that is not affecting, I believe, if not most, all of us, because a checked in or sea-shipped TV falls definitely under the baggage heading, which was kind of left untouched earlier. So now everyone who's moving back would fall under this, and they have the 38.5% duty rates. So when you plan, make sure you plan for a 38.5% if you're not on transfer of residence, right? So that is commonly across 38.5% on your TV, whatever it is, 30, small inch, 32 inch, 55 inch, 75 inch, wherever it is. Now, just keep in mind that this is not your purchase price. This is where a lot of people get it wrong, because duty is charged on the assessed value. That's completely different. It's not the real value, the assessed value, not what actually you paid. So custom officers use their own price database. They have their own price database for your TV model. So it's not the price you actually paid. Even if you have the invoice, customs officers will evaluate, look at the model, and then put it their own price. And that comes from their own database, and it could be off as well. You can't do anything about it because it's their database. So if you got like a US Black Friday bargain, the TV will still be assessed for the full Indian value, not even the US value. And for a used TV, they apply depreciation. The customs, they apply depreciation from the purchase date, and we'll get to in a bit what those rates are. I think it is year 1 about 16% off, year 2 about 12% more, year 3 about 10% more, and it's capped at nearly 70% of the total. So always make sure that you carry the original invoice of the TV, especially if it is a high expensive item. And this helps in the long run. Now, for example, a 4-year-old TV is assessed at roughly the new price minus 38%, which is the depreciation, right? So always carry your original invoice. It gives the officer a fair reference and usually pushes the assessed value kind of down, but it's never guaranteed. They are not obligated to use it, but it helps. For example, if you bought the TV for, let's say, 4,000 rupees, and the assessed value of it is, let's say, $5,000 or equivalent INR. And if you show the invoice, maybe you got it for a deal or whatever, if they feel good about it, they can bring that price down. So it's completely their, judgment. You can't argue anything about it, is what I'm told or what I understand. I could be wrong unless someone, tells me this. Now, the same valuation logic also applies for every other electronics, to be honest, because, they have a list of, the airport customs have a list of electronics items, and it's pretty much the same for everything, including TV and everything else. Okay. Now let's look at the important thing, the transfer of residence. A lot of people don't know this, right? So with the transfer of residence, this actually changes everything because the recent change was brought in 2026. So in the old system, there was a concessional duty of roughly 16.5% on a listed TV. Listed means, a brand that is listed on the the customs website. Now, the new 2026 system, that concessional slab was abolished, the old one. So now a TV can clear completely duty free under transfer of residence, not as baggage, under transfer of residence. But there are conditions. There's only one TV per family that is allowed, and within your overall transfer of residence value cap, it should be, and you must qualify by the length of stay abroad for transfer of residence. So there are these conditions. And under the old rules, like I told you, a returnee doing transfer of residence still had to pay a reduced duty on the TV, which was around 16.5%. Of course, the current rate is 38.5, yeah, so it was better, of course, but it was definitely not free. And under the new 2026 baggage rules, that concessional duty slab was scrapped and the relevant notifications were rescinded and replaced. You might find the same old ones in certain blog posts and videos maybe, so don't listen to that or don't argue over it. That is outdated information. So in its place, a TV now sits in a merged annexure. It's called a merged annexure that can be cleared duty free, 1 unit per family, as long as it fits inside your total transfer of residence value cap. Now, there is a genuinely meaningful change for this is a good thing actually. It does not make every TV worth bringing though, because shipping, warranty, and breakage still applies, but it removes the single biggest cost, which is the duty for one set. Okay, so the next slides we'll go into the value caps that I was talking about. What are these transfer of residence value caps? Okay, how much can you bring duty free depending on how long you were staying abroad? Now, if you were staying abroad for about 3 to 12 months, your duty free value cap is 150,000 rupees. Okay, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1.5 lakhs essentially. If you were staying 1 year or more in the last 2 years, then it is 3 lakh rupees. Then if you were staying for 2 years or more, which is what I think most of you returnees or aspiring returnees will fall into, that is 7,50,000 rupees. So just keep that number in mind. 7,50,000 rupees is the value cap for anyone who is doing transfer of residence. Okay. So a lot of relocation company pages and old blog posts again still quote the previous 5 lakhs cap. It was a smaller cap earlier, but in 2026 this was raised to 7.5 lakhs for the 2-year band. So if a mover tells you that it's 5 lakhs, generally try and correct them. I know that this has been happening because a lot of people has reported this personally and in the community with me, but that is just old information. Okay, so let's look at the paperwork and timing that is required. Okay, now transfer of residence has very strict rules. If you miss them, you lose the concession, right? Because it is generous, but it's not casual, and the timing rules are real. So if your TV is coming by sea, that is unaccompanied baggage. You are not accompanying it. You travel separately, and everything that you own is coming by sea. Then you need to ship it within 30 days of landing in India, and it should arrive within 2 months. So a lot of people make it a point to do the shipping well in advance, even before they move. Let's say, for example, you are moving or you bought the air tickets for next week. They might do the shipping this week itself and just keep 1 or 2 days between your move and the shipping. So that way, you just make sure you can stay there and make sure that everything is shipped properly and nothing is lost. And also you have that 2-month window. One thing that people forget is called the detained baggage receipt. So when you land, you go through the red channel, declare that your sea shipment is on its way, and collect this receipt. A lot of people forget or ignore it because that document preserves your claim to the duty-free concession for the goods still coming in through sea. So it's called the detained baggage receipt. So make sure you come in through the red channel. A lot of people, when they're just walking in without much baggage or anything, so they would say, well, let's go through the green channel, because everyone wants to avoid customs and all these hassles. So they avoid it. Don't do that. So don't skip it, and always carry your passports, which means your present and old passports, which proves your length of stay. Make sure you have your visa stamps on them. If you have all the bills and everything that you can carry, your packing list, your invoices from your shipping company, everything, whatever you can prove that, hey, there's so much of shipping coming in the next X number of days, that helps, because all of this information goes into the retained baggage receipt. And usually a good relocation company or an agent handles most of this. But you are the one who must clear the airport correctly. Make sure, even if they promise you to do it properly, make sure that you sit with them and get it right. Because the paperwork around this overlaps with the annexure form you will file for your transfer of residence goods. Now, let me show you three duty scenarios side by side. Let's say, same TV coming in through three different outcomes. One is, the casual traveler, just coming in as ordinary baggage. The TV is with him, it's there in baggage. And here, like I told you earlier, it's a flat 38.5% on the assessed value of the TV, not the actual value that you paid, whether it be for a deal that you got or the actual price. This is the assessed value by the customs from their database. It could be completely different from the actual value. So 38.5% of that value. That is the scenario. Now, the other scenario is when you're a returnee, you have a transfer of residence and you're within the allowed cap, which is the 7.5 lakhs. There, you will get duty free for just one TV per family. Okay. Now, let's say you go above the cap. So instead of 7.5 lakhs, you have stuff coming in, which is, 10 lakhs or whatever, right? Or you have a second TV, let's say. Then what happens is you go back to 38.5%, just like ordinary baggage. So this is the rule as of now. So the lesson here is, make sure that you do transfer of residence properly. That is very, very worth it. Now, let's see. Will the TV that you're bringing into India even work in India? Because there are voltage problems. A lot of people talk about it, and there are different ways to figure this out. But let me tell you why this happens and what is this. Now, India runs on 220 volts, 220 to 240 volts at 50 hertz. That's the technical number. Now, the US and Canada runs on 110 to 120 volts at 60 hertz. So that's a completely different scale. Now, the good news is that for most modern TVs, like Samsung, LG, Sony, premium smart TVs, they are usually dual voltage, which means they can function in both scenarios. Okay. So if the label says 100 to 240 volts, that means you're all set. You're golden, because it can go from 100 to 120, which is in US and Canada. Then it can go all the way up to 220 to 240. So 100 to 240, if it says on the label, you're all set. Now, you might need a small plug adapter, which is, you might have a flat plug. You might want to have the adapter so that it fits into the round plug in India. That's all that you might need. But keep in mind, this is only available for premium TVs, not the lesser expensive ones. Now, the bad news is that some US market TVs are built for 100 or 120 volts only, not meant to be used on 220 to 240 volts scale. Now, if you plug one of those into an Indian socket, it will die instantly. It will get fried. Don't do that. I've done that. I had a Xbox 360 and it got fried the moment I put it into the Indian socket once I got back. That was such a heartbreak for my kid. So before you ship anything, walk over to your TV and read the label on the back. Do not assume, just verify. The 50 versus 60 hertz difference actually does not matter that much. What actually matters is the volts, the range, the 110 volts versus 220. That's what really matters. Now, there are certain things called as transformers or step down transformers available on Amazon, which you can buy. I'll share the link to some of the best ones that the community recommends down in the description. You can check it out. But those again are kind of like a jugaad. We've seen that prolonged usage leads to heat issues and things like that. And don't daisy chain them. Just use one transformer for one heavy item, so on and so forth. So I wouldn't say this is a silver bullet solution. It is kind of like a workaround. Absolutely, if you have to bring your TV, then these are the things that you can look into. Now, you can ignore the tuner because some built-in US TVs has tuners. It won't catch the Indian channels, but I don't think a lot of people use the cable TV these days, so you can just ignore it. Everyone uses the set-top box these days, so but just FYI, it's there, but you can ignore it. Okay, now let's look at the smart TV situation. Most of the apps that we work on today, Netflix, Prime Video, YouTube, etc., Sony, whatever, they're all country dependent. So if you're bringing all of those to India, chances are that it may not work. It might work for a while, but then once the IP switch happens or they find out, or the algorithm find out, or whatever, then it just stops working. The best way to fight this is to get a Indian made Fire Stick or Google TV, Chromecast, or Apple TV, plug it into the HDMI port, and then you're running basically an Indian operating system into the US TV. So that way, that's what most of the people does, and that's what works also. Even people with Indian TVs also do that. It's a so much more easier way of making your apps work, right? But other than that, there is very, very important one thing, which is called the warranty, because your foreign warranty is worthless in India. A lot of people assume that their TVs will be always perfect and it won't, die or something bad will happen. They just assume everything will be perfect. That is not the case most of the time, in which case you will need a warranty. And even if you have a lifetime warranty on your US TV, that's not useful in India at all. Right? So because their terms completely change, like for example, Samsung India's own support page is kind of very blunt about it. It says that your TV is not covered under warranty when you use it in another country, and it does not recommend cross-country use because of whatever technical reasons. And it gets worse. Samsung India's terms say that they may not be able to repair large products like TV panels when the parts are not available, and that a set with very different specifications can be treated as non-repairable. So I've seen people argue about this and get into long chats with customer service, but it doesn't work. So in plain language, if your imported TV's panel cracks or a board fails in India, you might not be able to fix it at all, because the US specs parts simply are not stocked here in India. Otherwise, you have to get someone to bring it, but it's again too much hassle. So for a TV, the panel is the most expensive part, right? The most failure prone part. So you would be importing the one product where losing repair access hurts the most. But in contrast, a locally bought TV can get serviced at a showroom down the road. And trust me, unlike in the US, getting things fixed in India is a lot more versatile. There are a lot of options, even the official ones, the unofficial ones. And these days there are even those printing boards where you can take the TV and they'll just do it for you quickly. It's just costs a few $1,000, Indian rupees, that is. Okay. Just keep a watch for the model numbers, because that is very, very important. Some people wonder if they can quietly claim warranty in India by playing dumb, by showing their imported TVs. You can't, because the model numbers gives it away. Because like for example, a Samsung TV, the US TV typically carries a code starting with UN, while the India version starts with UA. So they know this. So don't play fool and hope to get through. The reason I've added that is because a lot of folks have tried it. Not a lot, but some. Now, the shipping risk is actually very real, because TVs are very fragile. And this is probably one of the items that repeatedly have been reported as broken during shipping, especially sea shipping. Panels, they crack, and many movers, they don't even insure the TV at all if it is by air or ship. And that if you don't have any original box, means even if they wanted to give insurance, it won't cover. And the TV should be professionally crated, which is like a wooden structure that you have to buy. So these things, even if you do, the risk is real. And the non-negotiable rule everyone agrees on is the original box. If you don't have the TV's original manufacturer's box, no insurer will cover the panel, full stop. And on top of the box, it needs professional wooden crating, right? So if you're serious about bringing a TV, you keep the original box from the day one you decide to move and crate it properly. The crate, you can ask your shipping agency or you can do it yourself. I would recommend using the shipping agency or a relocation agency, and they will do it for you for an additional cost. Okay. Now, if you are shipping in your TV, how should you, right? Should you do it by sea or versus air, or just check in? Well, air freight is faster but expensive. And as we just saw, the screen is usually not insured. The worst option for all is checking your TV in an airline baggage. I see returnees do this to save money, and it's really a bad call because airlines take zero responsibility for breakage of electronics. That's why it's cheap. People regularly spot cracked TVs coming in around the baggage belt, and paying an oversized fee buys you no special handling whatsoever. Sometimes because the size is big, you have to pay extra, but it doesn't get you better handling. You know how things are tossed around near the baggage area in India. So please don't do that. So the order of preference is clear. Sea freight in the original box, properly crated and insured, is probably the only method, if at all, I need to recommend. I would not air, never buy air, and never buy baggage or check-in. Okay. Now, the other fact that a lot of people ignore is that India actually makes great TVs now, and cheap as well. TLC or VU and all these brands have kind of democratized the whole TV market. And maybe 10 years back, if you had to get a Sony for, I don't know, 1 lakh or 50,000 or something like that, today you can get that for half the price with VU. And the technology keeps changing. So it doesn't make any sense to keep your TV for more than, let's say, I don't know, 4 years or 5 years, right? So why invest so much in it? Because you have to change it anyways. And yeah, so I bought a View TV once I got back, and it's been great. I wouldn't say it's technologically amazing, but you don't need that these days. You just need it for streaming and all those things. You need a big TV that fits in the living room with a good audio, smart features, and that's it. And even if it damages after 3-4 years, get it changed, because it's value for money. That's my personal take. Okay. So if you look at the India prices also, it's not very big, completely different from, or significantly different from the US prices. In fact, some of the good brands are very, very cheap in India as well. So leverage on that. You can see the prices snapshot here. If you are going for a budget QLED like Xiaomi, it costs you just about 37,000 rupees in India. If you get for like a top end OLED, Sony Bravia, maybe 2,45,000 rupees. So, that's the price that we are looking at. Let's look at the break-even logic. Okay. So when importing makes sense and when it doesn't, that's the thing. Now, for a mid-range TV, the kind most of us own, importing loses, because once you stack up duty, shipping, insurance, lost warranty, and breakage risk, you've matched or beaten the price of a brand new Indian set with none of the hassle. So sell it before you move. For a high-end large screen, a premium 65 or 76 or higher OLED costing $2,000 or more, the absolute price cap can be big enough to justify the effort. So especially now that the transfer residents can bring it home duty free. So I use two quick thresholds. First, if the India price of the same model is within about 20 to 20% or 25% of your total all-in import cost, just buy it in India. The convenience and the local warranty are actually worth that gap. And you probably will get the same brand that you aspire for or used in the US as well. Second is, if your real saving on a premium set clears about 50 to 40,000 rupees, even after every cost, and you qualify for the duty-free transfer of residence, then importing becomes a reasonable call. So run your own numbers against these two thresholds and make your decision. So what does the community say? Well, across our WhatsApp groups and on the older forums and communities and everything, the same advice surfaces again and again, which is bring your furniture if you love it, bring the sentimental things, the items with memories. But for an ordinary TV, the community verdict is consistent: buy new in India. It's cheaper, it's simpler, it carries a local warranty, and you skip the whole breakage lottery. So the one exception people endorse is the large premium set where the price gap is genuinely significant and the model is hard to get in India. If only you have one of those sets, which is very rare, most of the things you already have in India, then just stick to it. So I'm not imposing anything. It's what thousands of people within the community has already done, and they kept telling each other and recommend. So that's my take. Okay. But there are some mistakes that most of our returnees make, which is mentioned here. Assuming that the 75,000 rupees allowance is covering the TV, it never does. Not checking the voltage and then frying a 120 or 110 volt only set. Don't do that. Shipping without the original box, no insurance, and expecting warranty service in India for a foreign set doesn't work. Bringing a mid-range TV, which you can easily buy from here, and going through all the hassles for it, not worth it. Skipping the transfer of residence paperwork and losing the duty-free benefit, don't do that. And walking with a TV through the green channel, no, please don't do that. So if I were to give you like a 4-stage decision, this is it. Stage 1, make sure that you ask yourself, should you bring it all at all? So bring it only if all 3 are true, which is it's high-end, it's under 3 years old, and it's confirmed for dual voltage use. Otherwise, sell it and buy it in India. Stage 2, if yes, use transfer of residence, qualify, claim one TV duty free within your cap, and collect the detained baggage receipt. Stage 3, ship it right, sea freight only, original box, professional crating. And then get the screen breakage insurance confirmed in writing, not just promised verbally. I have to underline that part. A lot of people miss this. And stage 4 is set it up safely in India. Use a voltage stabilizer or a step-down transformer. Make sure that the power is not fluctuating. Use a plug adapter and run all your content through an Indian streaming stick like the Google Chromecast and Amazon Fire Stick and so on and so forth, right? Just these 4 things, if you can go through, you will get a clear decision by the end. So once you arrive, let's say you shipped back all the TV, and once you arrived, you have to check these things. Inspect the panel for cracks before you sign anything from the mover, right? A lot of things just slip through and you only realize it later. Don't do that. Plug into a voltage stabilizer, never a bare socket. Please, please, please. Use a quality plug adapter, connect Indian Fire Stick, and then log into apps with your Indian account, and make sure that all customs and shipping paperwork is in one folder or saved somewhere. Okay. So, and there are some FAQs as well over here. It's very straightforward. So please, you can read through. I don't want to go into it. Now, just a few caveats. The baggage rules 2026, right, only came into force on the 2nd of February in 2026. So some details are being interpreted as we speak. And there's a real technical debate among specialists about whether the social welfare surcharges still rides on baggage duty. That's a difference between 35% and 38.5 percentage. So it's a big deal. Official customs FAQs still quote 38.5. So plan for that and confirm before you travel. Your much publicized 10% rate does not apply to a baggage TV. Don't let a headline mislead you. And assessed value is always the officer's call. So your actual duty can vary. You cannot argue over it. Prices shift with sales, and warranty and voltage support differ by exact model. So when real money is on the line, verify with the official custom site or a licensed broker. Treat this video as your map, not your lawyer. Okay, and I do have some official sources and links that you might want to check before deciding all of this. So yeah, that's pretty much it. What you need to do now is go through this checklist, go through this video once again, and if you have any doubts, join backtoindia.com and ask folks who have done this previously. It's completely free. It's on backtoindia.com. You can join and connect with folks from the same city that you're planning to move, like Bangalore, Hyderabad, etc. We also have WhatsApp groups. So join there and make your move easy and effortless. That's what we are here for. I hope you plan this well and get back to India at some point of time. If there is anything I or the community can help, reach to us and we will do the best we can. So this is Mani Karthik signing off, and see you in another video. I hope this was useful. If you have any questions or suggestions, please share it down in the comments. Share this in your local WhatsApp community in your area or your community or whatever. It'll help us a lot. This is a mission that we are on without any backing. It's just me and a few fellow well-wishers who are making this moment possible. I hope you will join us and help us in this mission. Thank you.